CEO, and he will have to hit the ground running to keep up with development of the sport in the country. South Africa has had a poor showing at international competitions in this sporting code due to various challenges. Gymnasts often struggle with resources, coaching and sponsorship, while Tsheko Mokgosi takes over from Elizabeth Cameron-Smith, who resigned from the organization. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Mokgosi before we speak to him. Well, Mokgosi's gymnastics journey began at a tender age of 10 years in the Northwest Province as a tumbling gymnast, and his tumbling skills progressed over the years, resulting in Mokgosi being crowned South Africa's National Open Tumbling Champion for 15 consecutive years from 1990 to 2004, and this time he achieved a world ranking of #1 for tumbling, and he won a bronze at the 1997 and silver at the 2001 World Games. He won a team silver at the 2000 World Championships and silver at the 1996 World Championships. He joins us on the line, rather from our studios in Cape Town. Thank you very much for joining us, Tsheko.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, let's start off with identifying the challenges facing gymnasts in South Africa. We talked about coaching, resources, and the likes. But what are the key problems that they are facing for them to be competing at international level?
Yeah, I mean, you've mentioned it, that there are numerous challenges. I mean, from a coaching perspective, what we've realized and come to the conclusion of in recent times is that we need to be able to equip our coaches with more knowledge, particularly practical knowledge. You know, on the theory side, there's a lot of knowledge in many of our coaches, but when it comes to practical, actually applying what you've learned in theory and in the practical session, where a setting where you experience challenges with different kinds of gymnasts, this is where the real challenge is with regards to coaching. You know, getting gymnasts from beginner to the highest level in the world. But also, I think our culture of training in South Africa is such that I think we don't necessarily spend enough hours in the gym. High performance, if you want to go for high performance, you really need to put the hours, and also you need to be able to have it takes a lot of personal sacrifice, and you find that it gets very expensive to be able to do something like that. So this is one of the big challenges that we have in the Federation, which is linked also to funding, because if you can fund coaches especially the coaches that teach our talented athletes, to sort of like reduce the coach-athlete ratio so that they can give focused attention to the specific athletes, and also spend more time in the gym, because more time means you have to earn a little bit more. But what happens now is that there's a lot of personal sacrifice. The coaches that have got the passion, which is good, passion is very good, and the athletes also that have got the passion, they need to spend that much more time in the gym to really meet up to the standard of their international counterparts. So if we are able to generate more income for the Federation, so that we can provide more support, so that this setup of spending enough time in the gym, spending enough hours in the gym, that we can make it possible in a club setting.
Let me ask you this question now. Why is it so hard for us as South Africa to produce champions like Canada, the US, Russia, and even China? Why are we not really accentuating our performance to be of that kind of international standard?
Yeah, look, it's difficult. Look, I was in a situation where I was able to get to the top, but the support structure around me was also very good. So it's very difficult to compare, for example, my personal experience to the others. But a lot of it comes down to funding opportunities. You know, when a gymnast comes into a club, the club is its own organization. They decide whether they're going to go into high performance or not high performance. Because what I said earlier, it's an expensive exercise to be able to do it properly. And you need to have the right support structure. When an athlete has a niggle, you need to be able to attend to it immediately. And you find that not a lot of people are able to do things like that. So you got to be able to provide the opportunities, and at the end of the day, for us as a federation, we need to be able to come to a point where we're able to provide the support that's needed. Because also, as an early specialization sport, a lot of our athletes are teenagers, top athletes. And once they get to matric, that's also another challenge in our sport. Once they get to the matric, you find that they go for careers that earn them more money. There's not really a professional sport. So as gymnastics, we on a back foot, we lose gymnasts before they've really matured as gymnasts.
Okay.
And that's something else that we've also...
Just very briefly before you go, well, we've known you as a young boy competing internationally, and you had quite tremendous achievements in this sporting field. Now, the problem is other people who are coming behind you, looking up to you. What are you going to do for them now that you are at the helm, for them to be top achievers in this sport? What is Tsheko Mokgosi, as the CEO of Gymnastics South Africa, going to do for young South Africans?
Okay, that's a very tough question that you just asked. But in simple terms, I think as a federation, we just make sure that our structures are in place, that if an athlete joins gymnastics, that they are able to have a pathway that reaches them to the top. So we've got to provide opportunities for learning, training camps, not only for the athlete, for the coaches as well, and just make sure that we don't have any hindrances. I mean, we're very happy that Sports and Recreation South Africa has introduced school sport. We're very ready to support sports and recreation because the resources they're putting into making that possible. Okay. So what we need to do is be committed to making sure that there is a proper pathway that any child can be able to reach the top.
All right, Champ, we salute you and congratulations on your appointment and all the best.